Hey, what's going on, guys? Battle Nations Emperor here, back today with another video. And today, guys, we have a retro throwback video. This is a mobile video. This is not on my laptop. We're not doing Battle Nations gameplay today. This is how I started the channel. So if you're new here, first off, welcome. Thank you for stopping by. I hope you enjoy today's Battle Nations video and the rest of the Battle Nations content on this channel. But this is how I started the channel with a lot of mobile, I guess you could say, clips. And I had a few comments on Discord and on YouTube across several different videos asking me if I could do one throwback for the new people and just for some of the old people. So if you guys like these mobile videos, if you would like some more in the future, please comment it down below. I would love to do it for you guys. But with that intro out of the way, let's get into today's video. And today's video is discussing the Legendary Four, the Big Four, the legendary animals. So for anybody who is new to Battle Nations or just needs a quick reminder, the Legendary Four were four legendary animals, the four most popular animals in Battle Nations. There were more animal types in Battle Nations, like for example the spider wasp that never got a legendary, but the four main animal types, the sandworm, the mammoth, the raptor, and the boar, all four of those got a legendary, and all four are on screen right now, as you can see. But it started with the legendary mammoth, initially supposed to be a one-off thing, and it was so popular it became its own sub-series within the legendary, within the limited edition units known as the legendary animals. So with today's video intro out of the way, let's jump right into today's video topic, starting with, of course, the first legendary animal, the legendary mammoth. And quick side note on this, guys, just to get a little bit of discussion going on in the comments down below. You see that orange thing right in the middle right there? Yeah. Do you guys think that's his eye, or do you think it's just like his ear, or like, you know, a part of his body? Because I've had a lot of different discussions with a lot of different people who have very different views on what that orange thing is. See, I never thought it was his eyes because I thought his eyes were more like right here where his hair is being covered up, so I thought his hair just covered up his eyes. But a lot of people believe that orange thing right there is his eye. So please comment down below and let me know what you guys think. But this is his pixel art, which when you realize it was for a 2010s mobile game, you just really appreciate it. Everything from the arrows to the little Z carved into his head, probably a reference to Z2, the initial makers and developers of Battle Nations. But yeah, this is what he looked like, and let's jump into some stats about him. He was the very first legendary animal released. He was the first. He was the original. He cost a whopping 85 nanopods on drop, an crazy exclusive, expensive amount of nanopods. But was he worth it? Yes, and then some. So legendary, not legendary, limited edition units in Battle Nations at this time were nothing new. Everybody had experienced them. Limited time units, events, nothing crazy. The question was, how good was the underlying unit? And for this guy, it was beyond good. He is extremely strong with several crushing attacks. Combine this with his massive HP and high defensive stat, the legendary mammoth is an excellent wave clearer and a massive meat tank. So what crushing means is he would do crushing with all of his attacks. This was good for smaller units, and basically this guy could take out entire waves of enemy by his alone. If you were a lower level and you got this guy, you could breeze through your campaign with just him alone. He was that powerful. He was utterly insane. Another fun fact about the legendary mammoth, he is the only legendary animal to appear as an enemy in a boss strike. He of course appeared as the enemy in the boss strike he's introduced in, Boss Strike 5, but man, I pray for those people who had to go up against an enemy AI legendary mammoth. That had to suck. So yeah, I pray for their units, pray for their hospitals. And then finally, he was beyond popular. Again, the legendary mammoth was supposed to be a one-off thing. There was not supposed to be these whole legendary animals things, but he was so popular that the people had to have more. Z2 saw the community feedback, how much people loved him. They were like, all right, we got to do something with this. So yes, he is the reason for establishing the legendary animal series due to his popularity and the community love for him. Let's jump right into his attack. So this is his basic stomp attack. He had two stomp attacks. This is the smaller, the weaker one. This would do 175 in the middle and then 44 on all directions adjacent to it. This is his bigger stomp, again 175 in the middle, but now 120 damage to left and right of it, and then 33 on top, and then 22 on all adjacent tiles. This was his log throw. He would simply grab a log and throw it up in the sky, and whatever unit it targeted, it would do for a massive 195 damage. Fun fact about this attack, it is the only attack he has that does air damage, but it is all you need, because I remember going in PvP battles where people would use planes against me thinking they could, you know, hit my mammoth without him being able to hit back, and he would just throw a log up there and either sometimes one tap them if the plane was weak enough, and even if it was a stronger plane, 2-3 logs and that plane's gone. So really appreciate this attack. Again, it really adds to his versatility, being able to hit air units as well. And finally, what he's most well known for in his most infamous attack, the roar. So this attack, he will simply raise his tusk in the air and roar like a mammoth. I guess you could say like an elephant. And this isn't a glitch. He will literally do 162 damage to every single enemy tile on the board. And the cherry on top of this OP move, if any unit survives that 162 slap in the face, they are then stunned. That's right, this attack does stun as well. So if you don't immediately outright kill them, you know, having completely blasted their enemy side of the field with 162, anything that survives that 162 blast is then going to be stunned. Yes, this guy was beyond broken. I know people who got several of him. I myself got a few. I know people who got a dozen of these guys because he was that freaking broken. He was so good. This was his initial promo. You can see the time left when the screenshot was taken at the top right there. And it reads, new boss strike unit, Legendary Mammoth. With up to 4 attacks, this is our strongest Mammoth unit to date. And they were absolutely correct about that. Available at your animal trainer during this boss strike only. That would, of course, turn out to be a lie when you get into the vaults. But the vaults didn't exist then, so you can't really put it too terribly much on them. Whole other discussion. The higher your level, the faster you can rank up your Legendary Mammoth. And my goodness, was he good even at the base. If you got him at level 1, doesn't matter. He was just great. This is, of course, what he would look like, you know, when you brought back. You see that little, this boss strike only, of course, wouldn't last. It's back. Use the secret vault to buy chances. This was just the secret vault. They used him to kind of advertise it. Obviously, they want to show off one of the best units in the game to get people to buy the vaults. Fair enough. This is what he looked like in the vault. So jumping right into the second legendary animal, this is the legendary boar. This guy was crazy. He was not quite as strong as the legendary mammoth, didn't receive quite as impact, but don't get that wrong. By regular Battle Nations unit standards, he was still a well above average and an excellent addition to the game. Let's jump into some stats about him. As previously stated, he was the second ever legendary animal released right after the legendary mammoth. He also cost 85 nanopods on launch, just like the legendary mammoth. He is not considered as strong as the rest of the legendary animals. However, he is still considered a very good unit, as I said, by regular Battle Nation standards. He has a log on the side of his tusk. That's a hollow log to the left there. I don't see too terribly much importance in that, but the Wikipedia stated it, so I just wanted to throw it in for you guys. And then finally, he is the third unit in the game to have a cone-based attack. I'm sorry, yeah, the third unit, and he is the first to be able to move it. So his attacks are as follows. He can throw a stone into there. Basically, this is his version of the log, except instead of throwing a log into the air, he throws a stone into the air. Hits anything for 175 damage and does an amazing job at clearing out some annoying units. Oh, sorry about that. Oh my goodness, I don't know how to fix it. There we go. Sorry about that, guys. Probably looks weird on recording. This was his, so again, yeah, that was his stone throw. This was his triple strike on front. He would just do 127 damage to the 3 units in front of him. A very strong strike attack. This was his ram attack. As you can imagine, he just rammed right forward and did 195 damage to anything that had a line straight in front of him. So you got a column of enemies, take him out with a strong 195 legendary boar charge. And then this was the cone attack we were talking about. He would spew out hot steam from his nose like an angry boar, and it would go out in that attack pattern. Here's his little splash promotional. The Legendary Boar. This piggy is packing an arsenal that features 4 abilities. Hits air units, stuns unsuspecting troopers, gore a row of 3 enemies, and use its chilling roar to do cold damage over time. Available in your animal trainer. Again, for 85 nanopods. Not as strong as the Legendary Mammoth, but it's still a good unit. Definitely got a few myself, and if you don't have Legendary Mammoths, oh, he is the next best thing. This is what he looked like in some promotional art. And that will do it for the Legendary Boar. Jumping straight into number 3, the Legendary Raptor. Let's jump into his stats. As I just said, he is number 3. He was 89 nanopods on release, so a little bit more expensive than the previous 2. However, understandably, the community had built up this understanding of what they thought a legendary animal to be. Very powerful, so I got to make up the price. Understandable. He is a powerful strike attacker with an immunity to fire, compared to the last 2, which were weak to fire. He has devastating damage over time attacks with a strong poison attack. He could poison enemies and just let them die over time. And unfortunately, he did have a longer cooldown on his attacks with a higher hospital cost to balance him out. So a lot of people didn't like how, the boar was necessarily weaker than the previous 2, as I had mentioned. So to kind of keep the Legendary Raptor super strong but balanced within the game, his attacks, unlike the previous 2, which I think only took 1 or 2 turns to recool all of their attacks, some of his attacks take 3 to 6 turns to recool. So that's his drawback, and he's super expensive to heal in the hospital, requiring a lot of teeth. So this is his Destroy 1 in particular unit, as you can see. A massive 373 damage to whoever poor soul he just tries to rip up. He just jumps on the unit and kills it with a massive 373. Not a lot of units in the game that could survive that, especially early on in the game. This was even better. This was just a charge. 408 up front and then 204 to anything right behind it, half. This was the acid split. So 119 damage directly and then 30 damage to all adjacent tiles with a high probability to poison. And of course, if it poisons, it's going to deal damage over time until it kills. This was a slice attack, kind of reminiscent of the adult Raptor's attack. However, I would argue this is even better because it's a bit of a better tiling in my opinion, and also it's a massive 217 damage. Nothing to complain about. And this is his promo. Legendary Raptor. Tear apart and poison the ear opposition with 4 devastating attacks. Armor or no armor, this is one deadly beast. Immune to fire, stun, poison damage over time, attacks. High defense against fire, piercing, and crushing damage. The Legendary Raptor will automatically max your level, and he trains in under a minute. For 89 nanopods, unlocking at level 10, an absolute beast. And yes, if you got one of these things at level 10, your campaign's going to be a cakewalk. You're not going to struggle with anything. And this was when he was brought back, of course, for the 10 days, 10 units. 25% off what he initially cost for a limited time. Z2 was hurt for money. You can't really put too much on him. Again, whole other conversation. And also, he was level 20 this time. Had to be level 20 to get him. Is what it is. And finally, we move on to the last legendary animal. Of course, had to save the best for the last, just like Z2 did. The Legendary Sandworm. Oh my goodness. Let's just jump right into him. He is the 4th legendary animal released and the most expensive, costing a whopping 90 nanopods on release. My goodness. Is he worth it? By a mile. Yes, yes, and then a little bit more. Yes. He is the strongest legendary animal and one of the best units in the entire game, limited to 3 per battle. You can only put 3 of this guy on the battle. He has an unbelievable amount of health, defense, and immunities to several DOTs, and has several devastating attacks. 3 legendary sandworms, and this is quote directly ripped from the wiki, this next one. 3 legendary sandworms are the only unit in the game that can defeat every single land-based boss by themselves. Everything. And when I say everything, I mean everything. 3 of them can one-shot anything. The Sentinel, the Construction, you name it, they can kill every 3 based attack by themselves. They are so unbelievably good. They're the most expensive legendary animal to heal, understandably, with an insanely long recovery time of 16 hours with the level 1 hospital. Of course, most people aren't going to have a level 1 hospital, but even with a maxed out advanced hospital, you know, the nanopod one, it still takes about 4 hours. So nothing to scoff at. And heaven forbid, if you have a level 1 hospital, it's going to take 16 hours to heal this poor guy. So let's just jump right into his attacks. This is his column attack. So this is kind of reminiscent of the boar's attack, except it's even better because the boar, I'm pretty sure this is more than the boar, and more importantly, this does fire damage over time. So he throws a fireball straight in front of him, and anything hit with it takes 189 damage up front, and then gets fire damage over time. This is his second attack, a simple bite in front of him, doing an unheavenly 436 damage up front, any poor soul that gets hit with it, and then 218 right behind it. I'm looking at these numbers and I can't believe how high the damage is. A full sweep of 5 units right in front of him with 311 damage. And then finally, just a destroy the entire enemy battlefield starting from the center. He would take a rock, throw it in the middle, it would explode, doing a massive 252 damage in the middle, and then petering off, all adjacent tiles doing 189, and then the very outer rim doing 50 damage. So again, just anything in the center, massive damage, and then a little bit to everything out. This is again just a photo I am so glad exists and that somebody decided to screen cap. We love this because it's amazing. I can't get over how much I love this image. I had to throw it in for this video. This is some promotional art Z2 launched from before release. This is some more. So this image actually came out first. You know, ooh, what's under there? And then boom, legendary sandworm. And then this was his splash for when he was brought back. 10 days, 10 units. And of course, he was day 10. Got to save the best for last. Got him for a reduced 68 nanopods, 25% off. Insane. And this is what he looks like when introduced into the game. For level 15 and above, the legendary sandworm, the legend, is finally here. Fire, explosive, crushing, and piercing damage. Armor is immune to fire. So awesome. It's limited to 3 per battle, as I mentioned before, and available in the animal trainer. 90 nanopods, but some of the best 90 nanopods you'll ever spend. And that will do it for us today, guys. I really like this mobile type videos. I love recording mobilely. If you guys like it, please comment it down below. If you made it all this way through, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please drop a like down below and subscribe to the channel if you are new. And with all that being said, thank you very much for watching today, guys. Please comment anything down below from anything we talked about, anything Battle Nations. If you like this video, if you like the laptop Battle Nations gameplay videos, anything you want in the comments down below, please drop it down. And I greatly appreciate all you guys. Thank you very much for watching. And as always, have a great rest of your day.